to the first video of 2024. I'm so glad to be picking this camera up again. I feel like I make videos on YouTube so periodically that I just need to do like one big update, so that's what this video is gonna be. As you can see, the first update, the crib is coming along, period. I finally filled this living room space. Previously it was just like empty and filled with like boxes, but now I got me some furniture in here. Yeah, I got me a little love seat, a little cute coffee table, a little TV stand over there, my little desk area. It's coming along, it's looking really cute, and I'm so happy about that because like for a long time since I've been here, I've just been so dissatisfied with how empty it looked, and the fact that I would come home to like no furniture. I mean, that's like, I feel like that make anybody a little mad. And then for a long time, you know, I just hated how I would go back and forth on like the type of aesthetic that I wanted to go for like in my room. Like I've been living here for damn near like 2 years, and I'm just now getting to a point where I'm like really satisfied with how it looks in here. It's just now starting to feel like a functional home instead of like just a little place where I go to sleep and eat, and you know what I'm saying? I'm still not like completely finished with like decorating and how it looks in here, but it's coming along and I'm grateful for that. I've thought about like moving somewhere else after this lease is up, but I think I'm going to renew my lease again this summer because I just want more time to collect more furniture. But yes, it's so crazy to think about how 2 years ago, literally, this place was empty. I was sleeping on an air mattress. There was nothing in here, like nothing. It's just really nice to see this place kind of slowly turn into like a nice little humble abode. And it's also crazy to think like I literally bought every piece of furniture in here, and we thank God for that. We thank God for income. Can I get an amen? And all it took was like patience and saving money, and yeah, I'm grateful for how far I came. As far as like decorating, I still want to buy some more pieces to like personalize it, because I feel like I'm just laying the foundation with the furniture, but I still want to like decorate it. So that'll probably be the next phase after I renew my lease. And also still like as I buy new furniture, things are still getting like rearranged and reorganized. And that's another aspect too that I'm working on, like just organization. I would like for everything to have a place. I don't want my house to look too lived in, you know what I'm saying? I want it to look cute in here. At this point I still am buying new furniture, and like as I move furniture in here, things are still getting like rearranged. Just 2 weeks ago I moved my desk from like this window to over here, and I feel like it's a better spot for it. I really like it over there. And then just recently I just put the TV in here. I used to keep the TV in my room, and then I realized like I don't even watch it. I don't even watch TV, so we might as well just put it in the living area, because literally I'm just on my phone watching Netflix and YouTube in the bed. That's all I do in my room, literally. Yeah, so that's the crib update. Anyway, what I actually wanted to do for this video is a little makeup therapy. It's a perfect time to just practice. As you can see earlier in the video, I already did my little skincare routine. My skin is looking so good. It's been looking so good lately, and I'm very excited about that. I've recently been into like the minimal makeup look. I mean, I'm still gonna do a full face. Like I'm still gonna put foundation, concealer, powder. I'm gonna put everything on, but I'm just not gonna put as much. So I realized like when I say minimal makeup, it's probably not the same definition as, you know, some other girls, but this is my definition. This is what I do. All my makeup is Fenty. Literally, I had to upgrade like the Maybelline, you know, drugstore stuff. It was nice, but it was just like old. Like, and I mean like 10 years in the game. Like, I've been using that makeup since I was in high school and I'm grown. So let's get into the makeup, shall we? First thing we're gonna talk about is nursing. I feel like I haven't talked about nursing since I passed my NCLEX, which was like December 2022. I've hit the 1-year mark. By the way, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I work as a medical surgical nurse on a cardiac telemetry floor in the hospital. So we see a lot of like congestive heart failure patients, but we do see other like varieties of patients that don't necessarily have congestive heart failure. I'm using the Fenty primer. This is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. Well, I'm pretty much like still a baby nurse, but like I'm no longer a new grad. So let's give it up for that. I'm glad to say I've got some experience under my belt. I definitely feel like I've grown like as a nurse. I feel like my confidence has grown. My clinical judgment has definitely developed. Time management skills, all those things have definitely grown since I have started working. And I see that young. I've also recently graduated from my nurse residency program, which was really good. Like, it was a really nice like support system. I would definitely recommend if you are a new grad nurse. I'm gonna go in with the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation in 425. I got the really small version because when I was buying it, I didn't really know if this was gonna match, but this is a really good match. As far as my orientation went, like my preceptor was pretty chill. My orientation was very like independent. Like, he wasn't really hovering over me like that much. And if I had a question, like, I'm gonna ask it. So because like my orientation, I was already doing independent, being very independent, like my transition off orientation was pretty smooth. I'm very grateful to be in an environment of people that understand that I'm new and, you know, are willing to help. You know, they go out their way and ask me if I need help, and they still do that. And I am very appreciative to be working in that type of environment, because I hear a lot of stories about, you know, people not being so nice, like just being rude. And that's the last thing I need, because nursing is already stressful. And I don't need other people, like coworkers, making it like more stressful than it needs to be. Okay, so what I like to do is I put it on my hand. That's probably a lot. I don't know. You know what? I don't even do this first. I need to do my eyebrows first. I'm tripping. Actually, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush my eyebrows out. I don't really fill in my eyebrows. I just use eyebrow gel. And the eyebrow gel I'm gonna use is this NYX brow gel. But yeah, like I said, I definitely see a change in my confidence level. There were a lot of skills that used to be very intimidating to me. Blood transfusions. What else? Definitely communicating with doctors was like something that was intimidating to me. Putting in Foley catheters. But now I can say like I have a good foundation in pretty much all those skills. One skill I still definitely struggle with is putting in IVs, because that shit is hard. Since I've been working, I've only had 2 successful IVs. And that's mainly because we have an IV team that does that, and usually I just never attempt because I know I'm not going to be successful. Ever since those 2 successful IVs, I've definitely gotten a little bit more confident. So, you know, I've definitely been attempting a lot more often, and I'm trying to get practice in before I call the IV team, because usually I'll just be like, hey, yeah, see ya. Yeah, I definitely see growth, and I'm so grateful for all the experiences that have formed me into the nurse that I am today. I mean, I still got so much more to see. Like, that's the thing about nursing. Like, even when you do hit like a milestone of a certain time frame of experience, there's still so much more that you haven't seen, and that's crazy to think about. I had to change my battery, but like I was saying, just as there are positives, there are negatives, so we can get into it. Let me put this foundation on. I finished my eyebrows. I mean, they don't really look much different. Like I said, I don't really do anything to them. But for my foundation, I just like to put it on my hand like this. This is how much I have. And then I just move it around and just put it on. If I feel like I need more, which I do, just rub the rest on my neck. I'm gonna put more on. So that way, you know, I'm not using like an excess amount. For me, I think working with people who are sick and being with them like 3 nights out of the week can most definitely have an effect on your mental health. I know it's had an effect on mine personally. Like, I've always been a person that's been aware of my own health. Being so close to people who have like chronic illnesses, like chronic conditions, it's made me like very hyper aware of the decisions that I make, and like my health and how it affects my health and things like that. And then I also always think about my loved ones, and especially my parents, and how they could potentially, like, you know, end up in the hospital one day. And then it will probably fall on me and my brother to like take care of them and things like that. Just thinking about that like kind of just makes me really anxious. I'm gonna go in with this Expert face brush by Real Techniques. And yes, my brushes are dirty. Sorry, didn't say I look perfect. Didn't say I look perfect. But yeah, like I said, I've always been like a person that kind of is aware of their own health and decisions and things like that. And I do actively, you know, change up my lifestyle just so that I don't end up in that predicament. I mean, there's really sometimes, you know, you really can't control that. Sometimes, you know, life just kind of hands you that card. So working in the hospital has definitely given me like motivation to continue doing that or increase my efforts in doing that. Because like being sick is just not really ideal, is it? Having chronic illnesses is not ideal. It's just not. Especially, I mean, this is another conversation, but especially like with the way healthcare is in the US, like, oh my goodness. Definitely try to take the time out to take care of my physical as well as mental health, because that matters as well. Yeah, I've just been going to my doctor's appointments more frequently, definitely checking in on my parents, see how they're doing, and yeah, just very actively trying to develop a healthier lifestyle. So now I'm going to take, this is just the Fenty Beauty Instant Retouch Concealer, and I have two shades. They don't look the same. This is darker and this is a lighter shade. I'm gonna go in with the darker. So one of my New Year's goals was to like have a better attitude about work. I can be a bit of like a negative Nancy when it comes to work. And I don't think I have a bad attitude because like I hate my job. I think that I have a bad attitude because I just hate working. I feel like that's everybody. And then like to add on top of that, like nursing is a very stressful job. Like it ain't no walk in the park. It's very stressful and anxiety inducing. I don't know if this is at every hospital. Sometimes, well, most of the time, I feel like as soon as I clock in, it's just like inconvenience after inconvenience after inconvenience until 6, 7 in the morning. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to me. Honestly, that kind of stuff be working the fuck out of my nerves. I'm not gonna lie. As an introspective person, I kind of like will notice that. It kind of bothers me because like I feel like as a nurse, you're supposed to be this like patient, really patient person. So I'm like, why is something so small like working my nerves this fucking bad? You know what I'm saying? Like I really get irritated, and that really makes me question myself because I'm thinking like, could this be a sign that I need to go somewhere else, or is this normal? Like I'm gonna go in with this Expert Concealer brush. I think this has been sitting on my face for long enough because surely this cannot be healthy for me and my mental health. As far as my New Year's goal to kind of like have a better attitude about working, I kind of make an effort to romanticize, you know, my job. And I hate saying that because that just feels like one of those buzzwords. But if you look at the definition of romanticize, it literally means to make something better than what it is. And that's what I do. That's what I feel like I do. Like for instance, I will look forward to the process of like getting ready for work. You know, I like looking cute. I like looking nice for work. I'll take some time out to do that. I mean, I don't go out my way to be doing like a full face like this, but I'll do like a cute little mascara routine. I'll do a lip liner. I'll put some lip gloss on. Like I be trying to look cute. I be trying to look good. Take some time out to do my hair, even though I'm just gonna put like a headband on or a scrub cap. I think that pretty much sums up what I do. Oh, I also get to work earlier because that just makes things easier for me. Sorry, my beauty blenders are dirty as well. I'm sorry. I'm using just setting spray to wet it. Another thing that has been like a really big insecurity for me lately is like my temperament. And what I mean by that is like my introverted qualities. I feel like I am the textbook definition of an introvert. Like literally, I am very quiet. I stay to myself. I get kind of exhausted when it comes to socializing, and then I really look forward to being alone because that's when I can, you know, regain my energy to interact with the world. It's looking very orange on the camera, so I'm hoping, you know, everything blends out because that'd be really embarrassing. But anyways, yeah, lately I've been like questioning if working at the bedside is like the right environment for me to be in. Like I often question if my personality is like congruent with the art of nursing, because like in nursing school they tell you like nursing is not only a science, it's an art, and then the art form is the skill of like creating human connections and being empathetic and communication and compassion and those things. And I'm not saying that I'm not compassionate or empathetic, but sometimes I question, am I actually making connections with people? Like, could I be doing a little bit more? You know, I just wonder if that's something that I need to work on. Because personally, I think that I'm a great communicator. I mean, I talk to my patients every day. I explain things to them and, you know, treat them with respect. Even if they not treating me with respect, you know what I'm saying? So, but personally, I'm like not the biggest like conversationalist unless we come across the topic that I'm really passionate about, but that rarely happens. And like I often kind of dread when people like get to talking, because like sometimes some people just don't know when to stop. And as far as my workflow goes, like I don't have time for that. When that kind of happens, I kind of like am finding myself like looking for a way out of the conversation so that I can go about my business. And then I kind of look at the nurses that I work with who are very enthusiastic and bubbly, have these like very bubbly personalities, and I'm just kind of like, you know, very like calm, cool, and collected, and not as bubbly as I guess I could be, and that kind of makes me feel, And I know that nursing is like a very extroverted thing, and I knew that like when I was going into it. So it just kind of feels like as an introvert in an extroverted field, I kind of feel like I'm putting on this mask like every day. I just covered like all the spots that I went with my darker concealer with the lighter one. And then another thing that some people don't know about me is that I'm hard of hearing, like to the point where I literally use hearing aids like at work. So as far as like socializing goes, like it can get, I feel like I use too much of this concealer, but it's whatever. But yeah, as far as socializing goes, like it can really be like a true effort for me, because I'm finding myself like accommodating for the fact that I can't hear, and I'm like turning a certain way. I'm like, you know, getting real close to patients, especially when they're like really soft spoken. So yeah, just factoring that in, it really does take an effort to be like an enthusiastic participant in a conversation. I'm just blending this in. But, you know, realistically, like I know that introverts can be really great nurses, and I've been validated by many patients that I've worked with. Yeah, they don't play. But still, it's just something that kind of runs through my mind. It's really funny how I sat up here and said, oh, minimal makeup, minimal makeup. I feel like I'm using a whole lot of this. I don't know, maybe I'm showing off for the camera or something. But we hoping this blends out soon. But I definitely want to still move away from the bedside eventually, just to branch out, because I just don't want to do that for like 30 years like some people do. I've been thinking about outpatient, working outpatient, and then just working in the hospital like PRN if I want extra money. That's the plan that I was going for. I'm gonna use this contour. I'm very sensitive about my nose, and I try to make it not look, you know, stick skinny when I'm contouring. So I really try to be as true to the shape as possible. because I'm not trying to be out here looking crazy. But yeah, as far as branching out, I'm still, you know, asking the Lord for guidance on what I should actually do. And yeah, that pretty much sums up nursing. Yeah, I feel like I developed into a great nurse. But just to transition to a more intimate topic, more personal, more intimate reflection of my sort of relationship that I had last year. And I say sort because, you know, that's what it was. I'm not gonna like use this time to like bash anybody. This is literally just like a reflection of the lessons that I learned. I think that God kind of let me experience that for a reason. And I think that reason was to learn about myself and learn about the kind of person that I want in my life. And as disappointing as it was, I'm very grateful for it. I also want to just say that, you know, I really hate conversations about dating and relationships, like, as much as the next person. I feel like we really run that topic into the ground, don't we? But I got something to say though. I got something to say. But yeah, I just want to share what I learned just openly, just as a way to help me. So I feel like the main lesson that I feel like I learned was that it's very important to make sure you're as whole as possible, like before you get into a relationship. Is, you know, don't be looking for a person to fix you, save you, validate you. And I'm not saying you have to be like this perfect person that before you pursue anybody, but it's just very important that you make sure that you're not looking for that person to kind of like complete you. I feel like it's important to not be dating out of like lack, because I feel like that's something that I was doing for sure. I'm gonna put this powder on. This is Hazelnut Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder. But yeah, I feel like I wasn't being honest with myself. Because truly, I kind of knew, like deep down, that I don't really see much of a future with this person that I was talking to, that I was getting involved with. And he was really, not that he was like an awful person, he was really nice, very attractive, like a really nice person to talk to, but something was just missing. I just held on to the relationship because I just kind of felt like I wasn't gonna find that again. And what I think that comes down to is low self-esteem, honestly. Maybe I should be using a setting brush for this. But yeah, I was thinking like, I feel like I'm never gonna find this again, so I might as well just be grateful, because I'm really not trying to be lonely. And when I tell you that is the worst mindset to have, that's the worst mindset to have when it comes to dating, because then you find yourself like settling for anything. And I just want to keep driving this point home, like he wasn't an awful person, but he just wasn't somebody that was for me. But we had been talking for like what, 7-8 months. And you know what's crazy is we never like texted each other. No, we never called. We never like called to talk to each other on the phone. It was just strictly like texting. I mean, we would still see each other, but it was just like primarily we were doing a lot of texting back and forth like all day, every day. And then the thing about texting is that you just cannot get to know a person by texting them every day. You just can't do that, because texting makes you feel like y'all are so like buddy when y'all aren't close at all. We definitely like clicked in person though, but yeah, the texting this wasn't really good. But yeah, that's something that I felt, because like when we would see each other in person, it would kind of feel like I'm meeting him for the first time again. Like I would be forgetting what he sounded like, forgetting how he looked. So yeah, all the texting all day, every day, that's gonna be out the window for next time. But I would say that it was pretty comfortable for me, because we were both like kind of the people that just, personally for me, like calling someone on the phone, it's kind of like a pet peeve for mine. It's a pet peeve. I don't like talking on the phone. I don't like when people call me, like especially out of the blue. Like please schedule a window. Please schedule a window, please. Because when I see your name pop up, I'm just gonna stare at it. I didn't really mind like all the texting back and forth. There was a point in time where I did ask, how come you've never called me? I think I asked that before. I don't remember what he said, but I didn't really matter, because I was like, bet I really don't mind. Something else that I noticed that I would do is that I would kind of like shrink myself a lot as to not seem domineering. Like there would be times where I felt like I couldn't talk about certain goals of mine, because I felt like I would come off as like bragging or just like very prideful. So I kept a lot of things to myself, and now that I think about it, I was really I would always like talk about things that I knew that you would be interested in, because I wanted to seem like appealing. And that is low self-esteem. There was also a few instances when we were texting that the communication just didn't really seem there. I felt like he would misinterpret things that I said. I don't know if it was because we were texting or just didn't like understand like my perspective on things. So I mean, that's a bit of a red flag, ain't it? And I'm not about to get too detailed, just out of respect for the person. Something else I was doing was like projecting a lot of my own thoughts and feelings onto him. And wow, this is so embarrassing to like talk about. I was just asking a lot of questions that really I didn't really have any business asking, because we weren't exclusive at that point. Using this contour brush, this is just bronzer. So I'll be honest, like I was really tripping with that. Although I did kind of peep something. It was definitely making me scratch my head. I won't get into it. But also I just felt very insecure, because I really had no prior experience with relationships. Because this was the first time that I actually had time, and I actually had like wanted to put an effort into developing a relationship like this. Usually in high school, in college, girl, no distractions. So this being like my very first relationship experience, I kind of was exposed to the possibility of the reality of being like cheated on, or someone like just being dishonest with you, or someone like hiding things, or someone, you know, that sort of thing. I became like really obsessed with that, and it made me very anxious. It shook me up to the point where I was like doing everything in my power to make sure like this does not happen. You can't really avoid something like that, like as controlling as you might want to be. You really can't control something like that. If your partner wants to step out on you, I mean, it's an awful feeling, but I mean, they're gonna do what they want to do. And I'm not saying that he was cheating on me or anything. I mean, I don't know. I was feeling like my low self-esteem was kind of telling me that if I did get cheated on, it would be my fault, when that's never the case. It definitely has everything to do with the person that decides to cheat. I feel like that entire experience was definitely a lesson from God, because it was such a calculated time that it happened. Like, I had graduated from college, I got my nursing license, I had just moved into my apartment, the one that I'm in now. So I was like already blooming into this new level of like independence as a young adult. So I just felt like I needed someone to kind of like share this experience with me. And I felt like if I did have that person, then I would feel fulfilled and I would be complete and I would be happier. I soon realized that it was not as fulfilling as I thought it was going to be, and honestly it was actually kind of stressful. You know, God has a really great sense of humor. He essentially like gave me what I thought that I wanted, and I realized this isn't really what I thought I wanted. Yeah, obviously it didn't work out. He broke it off, which I'm grateful for. I don't think I would have been able to do that. But he was saying that he wanted to be friends, but I kind of realized, you know, after all the feelings kind of subsided, I just kind of realized, are we actually friends? We aren't really friends. So I don't know if this is a relationship that I want to have. So I just kind of like stopped talking to him. Me being the person that I am, like I'm a communicator, so I mean I would have liked to explain my feelings, but we kind of butted heads a lot. So I just was like, I'm not really trying to bring none of that up. I'm gonna just leave it alone and I'm gonna go about my business. Moral of the story, people will not make you whole. People are not going to fulfill you. People are not going to make you complete. I'm going into 2024 with that lesson. I'm very grateful for that. I mean, as disappointing as it was, yeah, I am very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the ability to be introspective and to be aware of myself and things that I have to improve on and that type of thing. I'm very grateful for the willingness to do the work to self-improve, for the next lesson or experience that the Lord has for me. And I'm just ready to, you know, live my life and allow it to be fulfilling, so that way I don't feel like I need somebody like to do that. Wow, I'm pretty much finished. Oh no, I'm not. We still haven't done the best part, and that's blush. I'm gonna use these cream blushes. I'm gonna use all three of these. This is Riri Daiquiri Dip and then Rose Latte. This is how the makeup is looking. This is the finished product. I feel like I look good. The Fenty makeup is just great quality products. Like I just feel like I have a filter on, but it's just makeup. But yeah, this is the finished product. I put the mascara on already. I usually put on like lip gloss, but I have Laneige on and I don't feel like putting any on right now. If you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I'm really hoping that I'm more consistent this year since I have more time. Yeah, I'm hoping that you are willing to tune in. Appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm about to take all this makeup off and go to sleep.